Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Flipping Fit Mama, Balancing Family, Business, and Success. On today, we are going to talk about my journey from corporate to entrepreneurship. So I know in the initial intro video, I discussed exactly, well, it wasn't in specific detail, but the transition from me being in corporate and going into entrepreneurship full time. So this video, we will dive into more specific details, what that kind of looked like for me, go into challenges that I face, as well as lessons for individuals that are particularly looking to transition into entrepreneurship, coming from the corporate world or any other type of environment. So first things first, I wanted to thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening in. To those who have subscribed already, thank you. It is my intent to provide as much detail and information as possible to help those others that are looking to either, to do a myriad of things. Whether you're looking to go into entrepreneurship, whether you are uh, already an entrepreneur or a business owner, you're looking to scale up, whether you are a student and you are looking for leadership strategies. So, as I mentioned before, this is a channel to help. There's a lot of different channels out there. There are channels that are entertaining. There are channels that are, to me, drama. You won't find that here. This is strictly a place where I'm giving, just giving information, giving resources, giving tools, giving techniques, giving strategies, just a place where people can come and receive information. So with that being said, so again, for those of you that know me, I am Lene Thomas. Those that are new to the channel or just happen to come across the channel, I am a mother of 4. Previous corporate worker. I started working in banking at the age of 19. I worked at several different financial institutions, and I've done almost everything that there is to do in a branch. I also was a stockbroker. I've worked in credit. I worked in accounting. Excuse me. Anything that is related to numbers, I probably have dealt in. So with that being said, the last corporate job that I worked was with Chase Bank. I left Chase Bank in 2014. And for me, I always knew that entrepreneurship was my route. I grew up in a family, I would say a family of entrepreneurs, specifically my grandmother. She had several business endeavors over the course of her life, but the ones that stood out that I actually participated in and was there, in the process were real estate. And then she had a couple, I guess, commercial businesses is what we'll call them, specifically a funeral home and a car wash. And so seeing that from a young age, I don't remember how old I was when I first started being with her and attending different business related meetings and events on the commercial side, but I can tell you with the real estate, probably from the age of like 5. So I've always seen with her, when I see her, business resonates, and so I truly believe that's where I got a lot of my business savvy from. But at a very young age, I realized that I wanted to mimic what I saw. My parents worked corporate jobs, college educated, worked corporate jobs. And so growing up, it's kind of like what you see in front of you is what you're like, okay, this is what you do because this is what you've been taught. This is what you've witnessed. This is what, your parents have instilled in you. But then there was the other side of me where, the entrepreneur side. And so I did go the traditional route and went to college, went to a couple different schools, got a few different degrees, and then uh, landed my first banking job at what is now PNC, but it was one of their predecessors. And I did that, and I liked it, because I feel like without that initial exposure into that that realm, banking, financing, finances, the corporate side, I may not have been privy to a lot of other opportunities that came from that. And so, very thankful for that. But I realized, like I said, as a child, that I didn't, I'm not going to say I didn't want to work for anybody, but I just knew I wanted to build my own. I felt like, my mom used to tease me as a kid, and she would say, "Girl, you're not gonna want to work for nobody else," because when I was working as a teen, I was always, I would work, but I would always do things on the side to make money. So I went to hair school. So whether it was me braiding people's hair or doing people's hair, I had, several of my friends, my neighbors, my friends' parents, my friends' cousins. So I was doing hair. At one point, I was working at a grocery store. And when we would have these big sales, I'd buy a lot of different things, high demand things that kids typically want, buy it in bulk, turn around and sell it. I remember specifically like right around like Easter and Valentine's Day when the candy, was on sale, I'd buy, $40, $50 worth of candy. Now, mind you, $40, $50 back in, let's see, when I was in high school, I started in 98. So early 2000, I think I was 16, early 2000, that was a lot of candy. So I literally would buy it, bag it, take it to school, sell it out the lot. And it was funny because I didn't think, I was like, hey, I just want to make money. And then growing, from there, I remember, over the summers, I've worked plenty of times as a teen, 2 and 3 jobs over the summer. But I just knew that entrepreneurship was my heart. I just didn't know how to get there. And so I'm grateful, like I said, I'm grateful for the opportunities that I learned in banking, because as a full-time entrepreneur now, I'm able to take a lot of the stuff that I've learned in the corporate world and implement that into my business. A lot of customer service based things that I learned that otherwise I probably, without taking a course, would not have been privy to. So I'll tell you, it was definitely at my last branch that I realized, it had been brewing for years. Like, okay, I just had to figure out, put the pieces together. I'm an analytical person. So it was like, I can't just jump out here, and I think that's one of the fears that a lot of people have, specifically moms, specifically single moms as well, that are wanting to transition into entrepreneurship. It's like, how do I phase out of one side and into another? And when I say phase out of one side and into another, I mean, how do I come out of the workplace and go into entrepreneurship? And if you listen to a lot of people, they'll say, don't leave unless you have, an airtight plan, and, unless you have a certain amount of dollars. And so everyone can make all the suggestions in the world, but it really boils down to that individual. For me, I had got to a point where I had enough money saved up, and I had, you have these buttons that get pushed. um, and I realized one day, I said, okay, I literally cannot take this anymore. I cannot take this. I remember I would come to work and I would sit in the parking lot almost in tears. And I was like, people don't realize different jobs. They see you in these different roles and they think, oh, this glorious feeling like, oh, she has an office and she has a desk and she blah, 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 blah. So we see different people in different roles. And that's why I never try to make assumptions based on, being on the outside looking in. But I tell you guys, I literally will pull up to the parking lot, it got to a point where it's almost every day that I worked, and I literally had to sit there and pray, like I said, almost in tears, because it was just too much. It was never really the client base. Like, I truly miss my client base. I had several people that would come to me, and if I wasn't there, they didn't go to anybody else. They said, what's her schedule, where's she at, when's she coming back, and so I had those true loyal raving fans, and I loved it. I loved them. But from the disconnect from the upper management to the forward facing clients was a lot. And so, which is, again, it's one of the courses that I do on the leadership side, is um, helping to bridge that gap in between the upper management and the forward facing clientele, forward facing workers, I should say, because it is a large gap there in many places. And I know with my last manager, like, we just bumped heads all the time. And I truly believe that if he could have seen things from our perspective, or maybe even taken the initiative to kind of listen, we could have avoided a lot of the tension, and worked more cohesively. But, water under the bridge at this point. But I can tell you that that led into me, like, that was a force. And so I believe everything happens for a reason. It was a force that was like, okay, get it together. Figure out, if you're going to get out of here, figure out how to get out of here and get out, because, like I said, it got to the point where it was every single day. And so that affects your mental, it affects your productivity, it affects sometimes how you come across to people. So, people might not want to approach you, and you might unintentionally inflict some of what you're dealing with that doesn't have anything to do with them. I'll say, for example, customers, inflict some of that onto them, and that can have a negative result. So, the reason why I left was because I realized at some point, I said, okay, it's time to step out here. It's time to step out on faith. I truly believe I truly believe that God not only gives us signs and confirmation, but if he continues to put something on your heart, something that you continue to see or feel or have a strong feeling about, and that happens over and over, and maybe people around you are speaking that into you, people that don't even know, what you've been praying for, and they are speaking that into your life, I truly believe that that's what's for you. And that's what was happening to me. So, like I said, it was 414, 4/4/14. So April 4th, 2014 was my last day in corporate. I had just got fed up, and I said, you know what I'm doing for this company, the way I'm building up this company, I can do that for myself. And so I had to kind of within build up that confidence, because it's not easy, especially when what's in front of you is I'm going to say it's a Fortune. JP Morgan Chase is probably a Fortune 100 company. I don't know. It's one of the largest companies nationwide, worldwide. So it's like trying to say, in my mind, it's like, if you're doing this for your employer, surely you can do it for yourself. But that was a large extreme polar opposite, comparing me as a one-man show to JP Morgan Chase. And so it was hard for me to find the balance and the common ground in between. But what led me to that was the fact that you can absolutely do this for yourself. And so I had to take a step out on faith. I will tell anyone that is looking to move out of the well, it doesn't even have to be the corporate world, but the working field, working force, working, whatever you want to call it. If you have a job and you want to become a business owner or full-time entrepreneur, I will say, I'm a visual person. So I would say, map out what that looks like for you on a timeline. So you can say, today is February, today's the 7th. So I plan on being out of my job and transitioning into, I don't know, let's say you want to become a baker. I don't know. Within 12 months. Okay, so you're gonna make a timeline of what that looks like, the things that you need to accomplish in order for that to happen by that 12-month mark. So again, it's gonna vary from person to person. I will say, do not blindly jump out and just go straight into, building a business without having some sort of financial backing. So whether you have savings and you're willing to deplete your savings, or whether you have, now, so I know this is probably a controversy or controversial topic. Credit. If you have the ability to borrow, some people are going to say, no, I'm not borrowing no credit to, fund no business. And other people, where I was like, what is it going to take to get me there? If I have to borrow, because I believed in myself that much to where I was willing to go into debt, in order for me to pursue my dreams and my goals. And if you think about it from a perspective and you compare it to going into college, many people are borrowing money, large amounts of money, to go to college, to get a degree, to study whatever field, get that, degree or degrees, and never even use them. People are in debt, 80,000, 100,000. I talked to somebody the other day and it was like almost 150,000 in debt, and this person is currently unemployed, so me personally, I rather, if it takes me going into debt for a year to fund my dreams and my goal, it's worth it. So like I said, it boils down to you as an individual, what matters most to you. So I'll say the financial backing for certain, have a plan. If you have not been in business before, I use this term loosely, get you a mentor. Now when I say mentor, it can be a person, it can be YouTube University, it could be the library, it could be the World Wide Web. You pick what works for you. I see a lot of people cutting corners when they go into business, and that's not what you want to do. You ideally want to have a business plan. So if you don't already have that in existence, or if you don't know what a business plan is, Google it. Several templates will come up. Also, you can find someone that is a business coach. Typically, they do business plans. I've done several. I don't typically, it's something I can do. And if someone asks, it's not anything that I promote. But those are some good things. And I will say, one of the equally important things that you want to have or to do is to surround yourself with people that understand your journey. So whether they're friends, could be family, I would suggest to network. There are several networking opportunities, Meetup, Facebook groups, Chamber of Commerce, trying to think what else there is. Because when you are going into a world that you are either unfamiliar with, you haven't charted this territory before, or maybe let's say you've been in business before, but you did not have the support around you. This is a key thing that you want to do. You want to have people that understand your journey, other people that are in business, other entrepreneurs, preferably others that are in alignment with what it is that you're doing. And so going into that, keep in mind that collaboration over competition. That's one thing. One of me and my business besties we created a group of female entrepreneurs, and we meet up periodically. And that's one of the things that we speak on, and we speak on frequently: collaboration over competition. So a lot of people think, hey, I'm in, the hair industry. I don't want to, I don't want to collaborate with other people. And it's so crazy to me because at the end of the day, two heads are going to always be better than one. So it doesn't even matter. There's so much business out here, so much opportunity. I have a lot of people that are in similar lines of work as I am. And we constantly collaborate. A lot of times I may have a client that I, for whatever reason, I can't work with, or maybe I can't get through to that person, or maybe their learning style is different than what I offer. So it's good to have those people around you, not only to support you and push you, but to help those people speak your language because they're in your same line of work. So that's another key thing that I would say that you want to do or want to have as you begin going into the entrepreneurial side. So I'll say on the flip side. All right, guys, so I do apologize. My editing skills are going to be put to the test today because my video just kicked me out. So I do apologize, but just getting back on track with what I was saying. On the contrary, I would say, excuse me, challenges that you could, um, well, I guess on the contrary, you would, if you don't have people motivated, supporters, or if you don't keep yourself surrounded, I don't want to say surrounded, but at least have some people that are within close reach that are in the either similar industry, or if you want to niche down, you can, but at least business owners. Not having people around you that don't speak like the same. I always say refer to it as speaking the same language because truth be told, it is a different language. Your average everyday person is not necessarily going to understand everything that you are saying as it relates to business. So I always say it's a different language. So not having those people within close proximity or within your circle can be a challenge. I'll say another challenge that I've heard a lot of people say is, they don't know how to start. So again, that kind of goes back to having a mentor. Again, that can be an actual business coach slash mentor. It can be YouTube. It can be what you've looked online. You can use, AI, Chat GPT. But have something and know that what you're looking at, make sure what you're looking at is a credible source. So again, whether it's a human or the computer or a book, make sure it's a credible source because you have a lot of people out here, swearing, oh, this is how you do this and this is how you do that, and they're there to get paid. They're there to market so and so's platform, and they're getting paid for doing that. So just make sure that you have credible resources. Trying to think what other challenges. So the keeping up, I'll say this can be a challenge, not necessarily, but keeping up with trends. From a general perspective, I think most people are like, I don't know, trends. But from a business perspective, it matters a lot more. So again, let's say that you're in, I'll just say real estate, for example. If you're not keeping up with the trends in terms of what's going on in the real estate market, the housing market, the, housing crises, whatever, that can affect you. It won't necessarily, but it can. So it's good to keep up with trends that affect your business or that are related to your business. I would say if I had to give a few, I guess, lessons that I learned, customer service is important in many businesses, and sometimes you don't realize exactly how that trickles down into your specific business, but it does. It definitely does, and it can vary from depending on your business type, from you getting referrals, to, you getting reviews on these different sites. I know that a lot of people, going into reviews, I'm a review person. So if I go to a new business, or I'm, going into a new restaurant or establishment, a lot of times I'll look it up. And so it's not the final decision as to whether or not I will, um, facilitate the business, but it is a good indicator. Especially if you see the same type of reviews over and over. And I know a lot of times, I think they say people will leave a negative review before they leave a positive review. What's the percentage? I can't remember the percentage. It was like 70% or 7 times or something. But basically saying when people are upset, one of the first things that they want to do is go and leave a review. Whereas, people have, great service, stellar service. A lot of people will go back and do a review, but not everybody. But you can almost guarantee when somebody has a bad experience with a business or with a company, they're going to tell somebody. So whether they're telling another person and then that person tells somebody, or whether they actually, put a review, or whether they call the, management, whatever it is that they do, the negative is overpowers the positive. So having good customer service policies in place is good. I'm trying to think any other like key lessons. No, I can't really think. Like I said, every person, it's going to vary when your time is right. I encourage anyone that has thought about starting, because I feel like it starts in it mentally. So it starts with a thought, and so if you have that thought, take time to jot down all the ideas that come to you. If you in your mind have said, I want to start a business, or I want to, you know, open a bakery, or I want to, sit down and think of all the thoughts that come related to that initial like branch off of that. And use that as a guide. Use that as a guide in terms of, is it a business that is going to be online? Is it a brick and mortar? Will I need a website? What is, again, I'm a visual person, so going back to the business plan, and a lot of this can be implemented. It's good to have because you can implement it into your business plan. But I like to see goals. I like to set goals for myself. So in addition to the timeline, maybe you have, once the business is open, these are the projected, clients that I want to acquire. These are the projected net profit, monthly net profit that I want to take in with the business. So just, if you have that thought, don't push it. This is probably the key takeaway. If you have that thought where you want to transition into becoming an entrepreneur / business owner, sit down, actually lean in on that thought. Like I said, write everything down that comes to mind. And then the very next step that I would do is to, do some research. If you don't already know what that looks like, step into that mentor stage. Become willing to learn and willing to, really go deep and see if this really is something that you want to do. So I guess I will end there. Again, I'm super excited for anybody that's ready to take this leap of faith. Here's a good one. Don't let the naysayers discourage you. I think a lot of times, specifically as business owners, we seek, unintentionally sometimes, we seek validation and approval from others that have not walked in our shoes, that have no idea what we do, that could not do what we do, And in many cases, these are people that are close to you. These are family members, these are siblings, these are parents, these are children, these are grandparents. And I think that is ultimately why we do it, because they're close to us. And so we're like, it's not, again, it's not intentional, but it's almost like we're seeking that approval because those are our people. We want that support from them. You're not always going to get that. So I would say, don't let, again, naysayers, because in many cases, the people that are close to you, your loved ones, can be naysayers when it comes to speaking into your business, speaking on your business. If you have that strong gut feeling that starting your business is for you, go with it. Communicate with other people, again, that can see you as an entrepreneur, that are familiar with the different phases of being a business owner, the different terms, the different the peaks and valleys. So don't get discouraged. So that's that. I'm going to end there. But again, I thank you guys for being here. I look forward to providing more information as the weeks come about. And that's that. I can't think of anything else. If you have not already, please share this video with someone that you think would benefit from it, someone that is either already an entrepreneur and they're looking to, um, maybe they just need support. I don't know. Or if you know someone that's considering becoming an entrepreneur, please share this video with them. And I look forward to providing more helpful information. And if you guys have not already subscribed, please do so. My daughter reminded me to say that in all of my videos at least twice. So I think I've done that. But you guys have a great, today is Friday, have a great Friday. Super Bowl is approaching. Yes. All right. Have a good day, guys.